All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Todd Browse. It is Thursday, July 23rd, 2026. Open disruption. This is the week in AI disruption. Thank you all for coming. OpenAI's model escaped the sandbox and went full Ferris Bueller on the world. So we'll get to that in a minute. But first, some intro slides. Please do connect with me. This is a link to my link tree. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on LinkedIn. I would greatly appreciate it if you connected with me. Just for those of you who don't know, I teach a class at the School of Visual Arts, AI for Creative Strategies for Success. It is the very first AI course offered at the university. As of right now, the course will be open for enrollment in the fall, but I need a good number of people or else they are going to cancel it. So I'm looking for 20, 25 good students. It's not an expensive class. It's 10 weeks long, and it covers a lot of very good evergreen information. And so if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Welcome to the age of Anno Intelligentiae. It's a new age of human history. This is the world we currently live in. And the smartest person that you can hire is not a human. Also, the most creative person you can hire is not a human. And we have to figure out how to navigate that. So I like to show these slides each week. Just to ground where we are, what we're starting to see with generative AI and agentic AI and the quality of the work that it's capable of doing, it's taking over the low end of the market. It's the AI slop market, right? Say, oh, it's not good enough. Keep that in mind. But what's happening here is this entrance disruptive trajectory is taking over the low end of the market. What does that mean? It means that we have to move up. We have to move towards the high end of the market. That's the strategy. That's what's going on here. This is the disruptive innovation model from Clayton Christensen. Artificial general intelligence is here. It's been here for over a year. I know this is up for debate, but my opinion is that it's been here because it was smarter than most of us anyway. Artificial intelligence is, in fact, creative. My students keep repeatedly proving this over and over again. When they ask the AI to do something for them, it is absolutely coming up with really genuine, creative responses that are arguably good. Again, subjective. Don't look at the data points, look at the slope, look at how fast things are changing. This is what's important to pay attention to. So something that's outside of the jagged frontier today, it's going to be inside the jagged frontier tomorrow, and we just have to get used to living on this near vertical slope. I actually probably should redesign this and make it vertical. Critical thinking is critical. Yeah, that's not going away because we have to be the human in the loop and we have to make sure that this stuff is doing the right stuff. The AI does the work. That's the way to think about this. I'm going to think about the work. I'm going to tell the AI what I need it to do, but the AI is going to do the work for me. And when that happens, labor shifts to capital. So if you are part of the capital class, the people who own the shares, who own the companies, who own the data centers, who own the algorithms, you have an advantage. Understand this when it comes to your investment portfolio. Labor is going to shift to capital. It means that as AI slowly takes over the human tasks, human labor has to go someplace else. They got to move up market, and certain roles, certain tasks, certain jobs are going to be eliminated. This is happened throughout history, the automation. But what's happening here is because AI is intelligent, there's going to be some labor that's going to shift towards the capital class. And when it comes to the businesses, I love quoting Michael Hammer, stop paving the cow paths. I see many people look at what they do and how they do it and say, how can I use AI to do the same thing that I currently do and replace the pipeline that I've been doing by hand? That is a good thing. You can do this. That's the augmentation effects and the replacement effects. And there's something more, okay? If you start to think about how you run your business and why your business does what it does from the ground up, first principles, instead of paving the cow paths, reimagine your organization, literally from the entire structure from the ground up. That's an opportunity. And early adopters who can figure that out will have an absolute advantage over people who do not. So yeah, reimagine the organization. Unlimited intelligence, again, I'm still continuing to do slowly some research on this area. The question that I asked was, well, the same way we have a smartphone with unlimited talk, text, and data, right? You have a plan, you pay, I don't know, 75, $100 a month, and you get unlimited, right? So when can we get unlimited intelligence. So I've been running a number of simulations and gathering a bunch of data to try and predict this. It's riddled with errors and uncertainty, but some signal is popping out of this, and I could make an argument that towards the end of 2027, early 2028 is when we might actually get an unlimited intelligence plan. And this effectively is like, so imagine I could run a foundation model, today state-of-the-art foundation model, like a Fable 5, but I could run it on my laptop, or I could run it on my personal computer, or I'm a business and I have my own private cloud in my own data center in my offices, and I can run enough AI to satisfy all of my employees and all human and AI employees' work. That's the unlimited intelligence that I'm kind of targeting. And I think this is important to pay attention to in terms of global competition and the other things that we're starting to see. Um, so yes, let me move around a couple of things on my screen here. Apologies. So pay attention to that, and as my research continues, I'll either publish it or not if I discover that it's just completely wrong. But I want to put that out in the universe, like this is what I'm thinking, and there's signal there. Copyright infringement, training an AI model is in fact fair use. I know this is going to upset a lot of the creators and designers in my sphere, but this is kind of the reality that we are going to have to face. I've got news coming up on some of the copyright cases that are ongoing, but it's fair use. It is quintessentially transformative, is what Judge Alsop said in the Anthropic case. And we just have to accept that reality. So this is from an archive paper. If you completely remove a specific image or even an artist's entire stylistic body of work from a training data set that's containing millions of other images, alternative data blocks in the hyperscale data set will seamlessly compensate for it. The model's final output probabilities barely change at all. So if you're an artist, if you're creative, if you've written a book or something, and your entire artwork has been scraped and used to train one of these models, and we remove all of your stuff from that trained model, from that data set, and retrain the model, would your what is the contribution of your artwork? And it's nothing. It's effectively nothing. And the model itself would be able to make up for your missing masterpieces. This is, a question for the value of one's work. And for better or for worse, this is it. The value of your data set, of your piece, your masterpiece inside of one of these large corpuses of data, it's 0.000000005%. That's what your masterpiece makes up relative to the rest of the data. So it's not much. And that's just disheartening for many creatives. We need to understand that's why training an AI model, not using the model, but training the AI model, it's fair use, because that's what your percentages of the entire data set. Most people don't understand what that means. Moving on, tacit knowledge codification. We talked about this last week. I'm going to kind of skip over this. So the other thing that's been a lot of people have been talking about lately is the battle for the AI ecosystem. A lot of questions have come up over, well, why is China giving away these models for free, these open weights models, which you can download. Some of them are small. You can run them on your laptop. I do that all the time. Some of them are very large, and you need large data centers to run them on. But they're free. You can download them. You can run them on your own private hardware. Why is China doing this when the United States, we have OpenAI, we have Anthropic, we've got Google, we got a number of other companies that are not giving away their models, but they're selling you tokens, and you have to pay for the access to these closed source, closed weight models. The answer is the battle for the ecosystem. And so because Harvard people love 2x2s, and sometimes they're too simple, but the model is free because the ecosystem is the prize. China is releasing this stuff, and yes, they are subsidizing it. They're taking the risk and the cost of training these massive models, and they're spreading that risk across their entire population. Whereas in the West, in the United States, it's only the investors who are, in Anthropic and OpenAI, who are holding the burden and the risk of the massive financial cost to train and run and host their models. Capitalism is very different from what China does. So, when you're looking at this two by two, you've got the technological power and the economic power. So, are they doing this to build China or weaken competitors? And it's kind of all of this. So if they can accelerate the domestic innovation and spread AI productivity across the economy, and they can also establish global technical standards and then commoditize US models and compress margins. So if I could go download or use a Chinese model for 1/10 or 1/100th the price of an Anthropic or OpenAI model, why would I spend that kind of money on the 10 times, 100 times the price on the Anthropic models? I wouldn't. I shouldn't if I'm the business person. Now, there are certain other risks. Well, do I trust the Chinese model? Maybe not. But there are agentic AI systems that you could put into place to make sure that you can trust these models for certain tasks. This is the ecosystem that we're navigating. And China's in it to win it. And I don't know, the other thing that I have mentioned in the past and in class is energy. The United States is so far behind in energy. We are so energy constrained, it's ridiculous. Yeah, we need to fix this rapidly. And again, I love Arthur Brooks. He's an HBS professor. The enemy of happiness is never living in an entrepreneurial way. I have to quote this. This is just part of like my new North Star. I heard him say this on trigonometry, and I was just like, oh, yes, that's it. I have been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. I've had some incredible successes and a number of learning experiences. I look at the world through a lens of why not, and to find problems and solve those problems through everything I've ever done. And this is just a great opportunity. I think the cost of being an entrepreneur is dropping precipitously, and humanity is not running out of problems to solve anytime soon. So this is an inspiration. I think everybody should try this at least once, and talk to me because I'm good at advising these things. I'm advising a number of startups at the moment, which I love doing. All right, so here's a link to, I'm putting this into the Zoom chat so everybody has this, a link to all of the links that I've talking about tonight. All right, so thank you all for the intro. Let's get into the news. First off, mentioned the copyright stuff. U.S. judge approves Anthropic's $1.5 billion settlement of the copyright lawsuit. I'm leading with this just because this is so very important to many people that I know. Great. It means that the people who were part of this settlement, they get a few $1,000s. Congratulations. This is a slap on the wrist. Yes, it's the largest settlement ever, apparently. Nobody cares. China doesn't care. And that, by the way, just to be clear in terms of the dollars here, this is a cost of doing business for Anthropic and OpenAI and Google and any company who's making an AI, building AI models. This is their cost of doing business, is to pay off the settlements of copyright. The investors understand this. This was part of the risk when they said, okay, Anthropic, here's billions of dollars, go build. We know that some of this is going to get settled in lawsuits. China does not have this burden. So our system of intellectual property hurts our AI companies. Think about that from a controversial perspective. You can disagree with me, but it does. This is a cost of doing business, which I don't think anybody likes, but this is the reality. By the way, what's next is that Anthropic and Google and all these other, they're just going to continue. They're going to continue to use the data that they have, that they can scrape, they can get access to, because it is considered fair use. That this will ultimately go up to the Supreme Court. It'll ultimately go to Congress, but right now that's the current path. So beginning July 20th, Claude Fable 5 will be included in all Max and Team Premium plans at 50% off limits. This is great. If you have Claude, the $20 a month, which I do, I just got an alert earlier today or yesterday that was, hey, here's 100 credits for Fable 5. It's not included, so you have to enable that, and they're just going to charge you per use at the API rates. So it's great. So they're not removing Fable 5 from our accounts. They're just making it much more expensive for us to use that model, which, by the way, is an incentive to not use Claude and just use GPT 5.6 Sol, which is arguably just as good, if not better. Google DeepMind released Gemini 3.6 Flash, Flashlight, and Flash Cyber. I will be using their cybersecurity model and in the very near future with one of the projects I'm working on. So seeing these security-minded versions come out is very, very exciting to me as a developer. And if you're building a platform that is going to be publicly facing, you're going to you have no choice but to start doing security assessments on your stuff. I'm looking at you, Ali. The White House is dictating access to frontier AI models, shifting power from tech giants, sources say. This is a big concern that I have. I don't like this idea. There's rumors that they would block the access to Chinese models in the United States. And I'm wondering how on earth they could actually do that. I mean, like, I get it. The government could say any government, suppliers and government contractors, they can't use Chinese models. Okay, I can wrap my head around that. But me, like we running a business, and all of a sudden our freedom of speech is like, well, we can't use that technology because the Chinese built it. I don't know how to navigate that. I don't know if it's possible. And then on top of that, how could they stop me? Like, I could still go on the dark web and download the model and run it on my computer. Like, so they're gonna stop me from running a piece of software on my computer? I don't know how that would work. Um, Interesting. So again, because the environment is always a big thing here, this was posted. Again, I don't know exactly how accurate this data is, but there is other signal that says this is on the right track here. Data centers use little water, little land, and lower your electric bill. That last part, I don't know if I completely believe. But these are interesting graphs. But I question the graphs. I blame Harvard for this. HBAPers know that it just drives me crazy. I can't look at a graph without questioning where did this come from, who wrote this, where's the data. But crop irrigation, lawns and gardens, golf courses, U.S. data centers. Yeah, that I've seen this before. That is accurate. The data centers actually lower electricity rates. Wait, what? I don't. Without data center growth, counterfactual with data center. I question that. Data centers lowered average. Yeah, that's the same thing. But I think there was another graph here. This was the other graph. Yeah. So good signal, question everything. And by the way, the land use this is absolutely accurate. This is completely true. I do not understand why New York State is banning data centers. This absolutely makes no fundamental sense to me. We need more data centers than I can breathe at this point. This is like a race for the future. It's a winner take all thing, and we don't have power. We don't have enough data centers. We really, really need them, at least in the short term, up until 2027, 2028, when that unlimited intelligence plan comes in, then we might need to see a tapering off in terms of the number of data centers that are genuinely needed. But we'll see, because Jivan's paradox might take over and say, yeah, we need orders of magnitude more data centers because everything becomes unlimited. So yeah, important signal, important things to pay attention to. Qwen 3.8 is launching and going open weights soon. I feel like they already released it. 2.4 trillion parameter model, Qwen 3.8 max preview. So you can play with this. I did try, but I couldn't log into their platform. It was hosed. Again, let me go back a slide, but these are the new models that are coming out, open weights that you can download. This won't run. This by itself is likely too big to run on any, home computer. You're going to need a ton of RAM for that. Tab FM, the data scientists, the HBAPers in the room might get very excited by this. Tab FM, a zero-shot foundation model for tabular data. So if you've got spreadsheet type columns and rows, I was messing with this, and I got this model, even though it took a little bit of time. Once it finished running, it actually gave me better results than a traditional. I forget which model I was running. I think it was I forget. I was running a bunch of experiments with some AutoML to try. Oh, it was XGBoost. That's what I was running an XGBoost. But it was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Something again, pay attention to if you are a data scientist building models, machine learning models. Sakana, my favorite. Is it SLM? Is it a small language model? Yes, I would consider this a small model. Take a look at it, Ali. You would most likely understand the use case of this. But I basically gave it just a sample data set and did an XGBoost comparison. And this tab FM did a better AUC, ROC loss than otherwise. I feel like I posted in one of our Slack group, WhatsApp groups, the results of that. I've emotionally blocked it at this point. Sakana, my favorite. Yeah, actually I think it's the model itself. So it's actually like you're not training a machine learning model, you're using a language model to get the results on that. It's insane. Um, Fugu Cyber, an update to their Fugu orchestration model, state-of-the-art performance on real-world security benchmarks. Again, Sakana is, I think, one of my favorite AI research companies. I just pay attention to the stuff that they do. I feel like I've got a bunch of stuff from Sakana tonight. Can test time scaling work for diffusion language models? So we've talked about how large language models are next token predictors. We've also talked about how diffusion models are used to generate images. Well, some very smart folks, I think at Google, created diffusion language models. So they literally forms all the text, you know, by removing noise. Fantastic, fascinating approach. And what Sakan has also figured out was that, yes, we can use test time compute and comparing multiple models at the same time to get better results on diffusion models. So, and they're super fast. So again, imagine a diffusion model that's outputting text, and now we've got improved performance on that front. So very exciting. I think this is another post from them on this unmask test time scaling for mask diffusion by deterministic action branching. And this is their research paper. Unity, the game engine company, they are introducing their command line interface, their Unity CLI, for their new terminal native path for connecting coding agents, CI pipelines, and custom tooling into Unity. Unity MCP remains fully supported for your existing setups, but to help with the transition, the CLI includes an MCP mode allowing you to leverage existing MCP-based agents without starting from scratch. So this is your AI controlling the game engine to build things and run it for you. So imagine the universe where you're the game developer, but you're describing what you want the AI to do, and the AI goes ahead and does the work in Unity. The AI does the work. Uh, in more models that are constantly coming out, Qwen Image 3.0, rich content, authentic details, deep knowledge. And they've got some examples here. Again, everybody's just doing coffee. I feel like everyone took my class and understood. It's like, yeah, we're going to do coffee prompts. Um, so yeah, beautiful stuff coming out of Qwen. This is their 3.0. I can't get over. I mean, these are spectacular. I mean, come on. Yep, that's AI. I would have to study these to see where the slop is, where the errors. I don't know. Given a damaged or incomplete traditional painting, the model can restore the missing parts while faithfully maintaining the original artistic style and brushwork. I mean, so if you do touch up, if you do image restoration, come on, you need to be testing this. This is amazing. So yeah, and we've seen this type of prompting technique to provide different aspects, elements. Perceptron, my favorite. Those of you who've taken my class, you know you should have some deep trauma of having studied the perceptron in my class. Thank you. All right, moving on. Lots to cover. Okay, so yeah, Tencent, I cannot get through. I don't understand why I'm getting blocked by them, but I keep trying. I'll keep knocking on the door. Maybe they'll let me in. Lisan's Substack. So we talked about the Chinese models. The question Lisan asked was, have Chinese AI models caught up to the US frontier? Last week I said that depending on the model, depending on the domain, they're either several months ahead or several months behind. And this research basically points to them being several months behind. I'm trying to get to the conclusion page. I think I skipped past it, but I had a highlight someplace, but I must have lost it. Oh, here it is. Conclusion. To summarize, based on this is the Epoch Index, the backwards looking gap between Kimi K3, the current Chinese frontier, and the US frontier appears to be 4 to 5 months. Again, those are the LLM foundation models. When you start to look at seed dance and the image gen and the other types of models that are coming out of China, they're 6 months ahead of us, 5 months ahead of us. So this is a blurry thing here at the moment. What else? Some model insights on Vercel AI gateway data. So on June 27th, Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google hit an all-time high of combined spend share of 97%. Open model spend was barely a thing. That was June. The all-time low, past 5 days. So what's happening here is people are stopping. There's a trend away from Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google and moving towards the Chinese models. Again, short term, is it a blip? Is it a signal? Is it a trend? Don't know, doesn't matter. What's important is in the last 5 days, there has been a massive change in the usage of these models relative to other models. Um, Pay attention to that stuff. Uh, what was this? Announcing ship an endpoint with the highest intelligence per dollar of any frontier model. This is really cool. They're taking Opus and GPT and they're making it 50% cheaper. I don't know how they're doing this, but they're basically saying it's based off of the model and the outcome. So great, save money with this. We'll see how this. I've not paid attention to this. Saw the headline. That's interesting to pay attention to. Access to those models for half. That's good. OpenAI and Hugging Face partner to address security incident during model evaluation. Okay, I buried the lead here. Apologies. It's been covered extensively, but for those of you who haven't heard, OpenAI was training their latest model. We believe it was GPT-6. Who knows? They put it in a sandbox, which is a little playground that was supposed to be secure. Their model, without being told to, they took the guardrails off, solved this problem. They Their model figured out a 0-day exploit that was unknown in the sandbox, broke out of the sandbox to try and answer the question that it was posed. All right, like a benchmark. It figured out that the answer to the question, so instead of trying to actually solve the problem, that it might be able to find the answers, cheating, would be on Hugging Face. So the model hacked Hugging Face, tried to find the answers, and Hugging Face is like, what is going on here? Hugging Face tried to look through their logs with Anthropic and OpenAI, but their models blocked Hugging Face from doing so because the guardrails said, nope, you can't do that. This was insane. Um, and I think that OpenAI is going to have to write a big check to Hugging Face and a big apology because, like, imagine the exposure to all of that. So I'll have to look at that video in a little bit, Ali. So yeah, AI security, very important. Metter, the expenditure horizon, a proposed method for measuring AI capabilities on continuously scored problems. The method compares performance as a function of spend for humans versus agents. I've been paying attention to this for a while. What's the difference between a human doing something and an AI agent doing something, and how much does it cost? Because that's ultimately the big factor here. Because if I can hire, forget about the smartest person I can hire, who's the cheapest person I can hire? I mean, I have a task, I have a job, I have a role, but if it's going to cost me more money to hire an AI to do it, even if the AI is smarter, if it's going to cost me more, I'm still going to hire the human. All it needs is a feather. Yeah. So again, these human scores, the different models, I like, again, we're understand the boundary here. So, more data, more analysis. Sam Altman, we had a significant security incident during the evaluation of our models. We were sharing what we have learned so far. Thanks to Hugging Face for the partnership on this. Yeah, partnership, they got hacked. They had no choice in this partnership. I guess there was like, hey, OpenAI, you got to spank your kid. Um, and another analysis from Simon Willison on this on what exactly happened here. He went through this briefly. So good article there. OpenAI's Altman to brief U.S. officials on next wave of AI models. I don't have access to Bloomberg, so this is just the headline. Cursor has just introduced Router, their Cursor Router, our intelligent model router that selects the right model for the task at hand. And for a while, I've been saying that one of the biggest hassles that we have to do, whether you're using ChatGPT or Anthropic or any other agent, is to pick the model that's the right model for what you're doing. That is like a human job. And it's such a pain in the butt. And many times I've had my tool set to like Opus and forgot. And Opus is just burning through tokens, building stuff, writing code, which is it's great at doing, but it's just stupid expensive when I should have switched it over to Sonnet and actually done the work on Sonnet. And the idea here is Opus does the planning, Sonnet does the work. And when you do that properly and you set up the infrastructure to do that, take my course, take my coding course, then you can actually deliver on that. This a cursor router solves that problem. So you can basically tell it, do you want it to go for intelligence, balance, or cost? So if I'm on a budget, I'm like, you know what, keep this at the lowest cost possible. I'll make sure that that what I'm asking you to do is scoped well versus I need the smartest brain that we can do here versus give me a good balance. And this is in their auto mode. It's absolutely fantastic. So intelligence and balance, you're looking at major price differences here. So yeah, 7 versus 4. It's important. And again, 2 if Composer does the work. So yeah, good stuff. OpenAI Presence, a proven enterprise product for putting AI agents to work across customer and internal workflows. Was just announced from OpenAI. Epoch AI doing more data analysis. How surprising should we find it that an internal OpenAI model was able to escape its restrictions and autonomously hack Hugging Face, all just to cheat on a cybersecurity benchmark? We've pulled together the public evidence on AI cyber capabilities in this thread. This is a good read. You should not be surprised by this. All right. Don't be surprised by AI getting so smart that it can find a 0-day hack and get out of its sandbox and find something. This is one of the reasons why our AI companies and Anthropic has made it so that Mythos is only available to top tier companies and governments, so that they could secure their systems first. That I think is a good thing that we need to do, and we're going to see more of that. Continue without supporting. Sorry, Hollywood reporter. To the creatives in the room, Darren Aronofsky raising cash for his AI film studio. Folks, don't resist this. I know it's going to be a little bit of pain. The AI stole our work and they're profiting off of us. Get in on this now. You got to get on this now. The strategy for success is to learn how to use these tools. How do they work? Tell your story. Make your movie, please. Black Forest Labs just dropped Flux 3, another absolutely fantastic model. Again, I haven't seen the results on everything here, but it's available in early access in the link below. I don't keep the audio here. You're going to have a lot of fun with this. I can tell you right now. Ali, I know what you're working on. You should be incorporating some of these other models into the thing that you're working on. I can show you at some point what I've done. But yeah. NIST, UK AISI, CASI, preliminary assessment of Kimi K3's cyber capabilities, because everybody needs to know how well Kimi K3 is. So the US top models are at 76, Kimi is at 32, and GLM 5.2. So there's a gap. Great. That's good. We're ahead. I like seeing that. It means that our models can protect us from these models. Health and ChatGPT. I got to tell you, I'm not sure I trust OpenAI with my health data. I just don't. I trust Google. I trust Apple with my health data. So I'll wait for them at this point before I connect my health data into ChatGPT. That's not to say that I wouldn't change if I needed to. Yep. Lucida, a background removal tool for the visual effects people in the room. Michael Orton, I know you're here, and Kevin, you're here. Background removal that keeps what matters: glass, camouflage, text, glow, and line art. This was a nice little model that hit my feed, so you can kind of see the matte that it's creating here. The wings are beautiful. Something that you guys might want to try, play with it, see if it works. Is it better than the Corridor Crew? I don't know. Voxel K released a new way to showcase 3D Gaussian splats called Inverse Sphere. This was really cool. More experiments with this kind of stuff. I thought this was really interesting, the way he's displaying that through that transformation. This is I forget what this was. Motion for motion transfer across subjects at inference time. skeleton-free, training-free motion transfer. I don't know if I want to show the whole video there. I feel like there was some examples at the bottom. Source motion flow visualized, cross-species results. This is a SIGGRAPH. Source motion, transferred motion. This was really cool. So we see a lot of motion transfer. This is not new. Sorry, this is a new version, a new approach to that motion transfer. We've seen motion transfer before. GNM, this is an open ecosystem of parametric human models and perception stacks. So a generative anthropometric model and ecosystem. This is from Google. So you're creating heads and stuff like that, 3D morphable models. Fast and high resolution latent decoding with pixel diffusion. So again, more of these AI models. So again, the traditional diffusion model was using in a latent space. We're now able to get much better in pixel space. This is why this is so important, because it's better and faster, apparently. And you can kind of see this difference between the number of steps that you can do this in the latent space. So more efficient, fewer steps, higher quality with this new approach of diffusion. 4K decode. These were just direct. I think I have to click to compare. So you can kind of get a good sense of the efficiency and the quality per step. And we want that. We want better, faster, cheaper. Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, NVIDIA. LTX, no reshoot required. Our new clean plate. So if you've got stuff like this on the top and you need a clean plate, I know a lot of VFX people who need clean plates. LTX has a people remover, which is really awesome. Again, don't know if it's high quality, but you can download it, you can run it, it'll function in Comfy UI. Rev, actually, I've got other news from Rev. I just got an email from Kira. New video models are now in Rev, so you can use Kling, CDance, and CDance Too Fast inside of their platform. And I believe she sent out an email that said something to the effect of that they now have a app, which early access is available. So if you want, reach out to Kira or send me an email if you're a Rev person, and you can get, I believe I can get you access to the Rev iOS app. And it's going to be released sometime in early August. So they're looking for some beta testers, I guess. Congratulations to Rev, again, one of our favorite little news startups doing image gen. Clean plate, this is the clean plate for LTX 2.3. So you can kind of see what's going on here. Really neat. Again, the clean plate. Camera move. Cool. Rev has templates, so you can add to touch any layout, swap in your product, copy brand, and watch the elements harmonize. We want this if you're creating advertising content, which is really what I think Rev is targeting at this point. You can now have these easy-to-use templates. What was this? Time Lens 2 8 billion video temporal grounding. This was upload a video and describe an event. The model returns time spans where the event occurs. This is going to be useful for AI video editing type stuff. If you want to know when something occurred, if you're a video editor, right? If you're an AI video editor, if your AI is editing the video, and you want to know when something occurred in terms of the time code, tools like this, models like this, skills like this will make it very, very easy to find that stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have to not let it run because it's just gonna take forever. This was cool. 4dv.ai. I think I have to hit play here. This is real time in my browser. I think it's gonna go explode. There we go. Blast off. There we go. So it breaks up here, which it should. What was this? Go to the wedding one. There's a wedding one. I don't know which one is the wedding one. Oh, number 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is a wedding. Let's load this one. Take a few seconds. This is awesome. So once this is captured and your ability to fly through this and interact with this, this is insane. Okay, again, there's no data from behind, so it's filling in the gaps here. All right, I'm going to stop playing with this because I'll play with it for hours. 3D stage from Flick. No need to learn Blender. Let the agent handle it. Blender quality results fast and free. Again, Signal, pay attention to these types of automations because this is what's happening. Runway media router, again, that model routing is really important. First preference optimized router for generative media. Instead of hand picking a model for every request, you define what best means once for cost, quality, or latency, and the router selects the right video, image, or audio model automatically. Live now in Runway Dev. This is absolutely fantastic. So again, Rev is not the cheapest in the world, but who cares? This is the kind of solution a pipeline automation really wants. We want this. This is going to be really, really useful for many developers. Automatically pick the model for me based off of what this project needs right now. Yeah, very smart. Microsoft released MAI Image 2.5 Pro and MAI Voice 2.0 Flash. I have not looked at this at all, but I saw it hit my feed, so I'm like, all right, I'll show this. Another image gen model that's out there. This time it's from Microsoft. Don't count them out. And this is in Dragon Copilot. So good images, beautiful. We'll see how it compares. It's only like these will start hitting the benchmarks and those sites in the next few days. AutoCAD bench, because we need benchmarks to determine how good AI can control CAD. Yep, there you go. And Sol is getting 46% on that. So once this gets saturated, again, that's the signal. Pay attention to the signal of how good these AIs are getting at the thing that you've been paid your entire career to do. It's okay. We're going to be fine. Prompt share. We created this 13-minute episode in less than 2 weeks. We're about to enter a world where our favorite TV shows and movies don't take 4+ years to produce. Our favorite directors will something generative AI and hybrid will use generative AI and hybrid production workflows to produce their next script, show, or film faster. Yes, tell your story. Stop arguing against AI. You're going to lose that argument. Please, I beg you. If you don't know how, take my class, we'll teach you. Okay? It's not that hard. You just have to spend a little bit of money on tokens and some practice. A 13-minute movie done on Artlist. Thank you, Ali. My mission is to get people to stop resisting this. I'm now 3 years, 10 cohorts into teaching my class, and there's still resistance to this stuff at the School of Visual Arts. I cannot get past the anti-AI perspective. We're graduating students who are going to suffer because they don't have the skills necessary to actually get jobs that still exist. They're jobs, but they're not jobs to do it the old way. They're jobs to do it the new way. Again, this one reference sheet, full creative control, LTX, IC, LoRa, ingredients, locks your character, props, and location off a single reference sheet, then carries all 3 into your generated video. We've seen this technique and approach before, but this is a little tutorial and an example from LTX. This is not camera footage. It is a Blender character with 8K skin. Detailed wrinkles, wet eyes, facial controls, and enough micro detail to make your brain keep waiting for the person to behave like a person. Human Pro packages that skin workflow into a Blender add-on instead of making artists rebuild it from scratch every time. The interesting AI angle is not AI made a realistic girl. A reusable 3D human can keep the same face across thousands of shots, then be relit, reposed, animated, and dropped into completely different scenes without the identity drifting every 6 frames. Add Claude through Blender MCP and the workflow gets stranger. The model can help assemble scenes, adjust cameras and lighting, inspect renders, and correct obvious visual problems while the character system handles the skin and facial structure. Folks, if you're not doing this, you got to start now because you're about to get surpassed. Please, please spread the word. Start playing with these things. CDance 2.0 does things you never prompted. CDance 2 prompt below. Create a grounded 15-second post-apocalyptic race between 3 reference cars for 1 canyon ramp. Lock vehicles, image 1. Again, you're supplying the images here. Never merge, duplicate, recolor, or exchange them. That's actually a really good idea. You're telling CDance what to do with those references. The geography, again, we've seen this time code based notation. Give it the time, give it the scene, and then the description. This works beautifully. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're I mean, I've also seen people actually use real time code values instead of like 8.3 seconds. They would actually put the 0:00. So I have to pay attention to that more. But this prompt is beautiful. And then you get this 20-second clip. Again, it looks like Mad Max, but whatever. Little Mad Max and good stuff. So this is what you should be doing. And this approach really works. Also, like again, you know, I mean, I've got some more of these. I've shown these over the past several weeks. Oh wow, the media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner. Oh darn it. So I'm gonna skip over that one. 3 cars in the race, 4 cars going over the canyon. Don't count. Don't count AI slop. Clearly, it's a mistake. Unbelievable. I'd never have imagined any company would be willing to make something like this public. The most useless thing in AI video scene is just releasing the final cuts. Final cuts can be shown to anyone casually, but the project files are the lifeblood. Higgsfield has fully open sourced the project files for originals. So this was their movie, and this is the prompt for this clip. Slow-mo. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm sure there's slop in here, but that's not the point. I think Higgsfield is also one of the market leaders in terms of platforms for this stuff. We've seen recently over the last few weeks these depth map videos, which are really awesome. So you can record video of a real person, run that through a tool to get the depth map, use the depth map as reference for the action. So this depth converter. Now, again, there's a moral and legal and copyright issue because if this is a real person dancing and you are taking that video and using it and you can tell like that person has not received any compensation for their dance that they performed. But if it's on TikTok, I don't give a shit because, well, okay, I mean, I care, but you know what I'm saying. If it's Chinese, no, but you can use it like because if they're going to use ours, we should use theirs. I have moral problems with that. What I guess I should say is actually funny. I have another video of a dancer actually performing the work. Pay the dancer, pay the actor, or get in front of the camera yourself and be the animator. That's what you should do. Arctic Research Station Attack Prompt Share CDance 2. So again, using this JSON structure also works. So if you're using an LLM to generate the prompt, have it generate the prompt in a JSON structure. That also, if you've got some sort of a database going in the back end, if you're creating content at scale, advertisements at scale, you want to have this type of notation. So you're keeping track of it in a database. This works perfectly, at least to keep track of the prompt. And then you have to do some iteration on the output. But that's nightmare fuel. Anyway, AI lets us build entire worlds. CDance 2.0 AI filmmaking experiment. minutes long here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. So beautiful stuff. Create the creatures, create your story. And, does it have to be perfect? No, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have a good story. And anybody who's like complaining and protesting, oh, well, you used AI, so we're going to ban you, we're going to cancel you, they're not going to win. You're going to find other people to watch your content if it's good. Don't listen to the protesters. Let them suffer at this point. I don't mind dying on that hill because they're going to die protesting it from that aniseed protest that we talked about last week. Let's create a fast single take chase scene. Um, Again, so this approach of creating using Midjourney or GPT Image 2 to create the storyboard, plus that prompt that had the time code and describe the action works beautifully. This is the way to do it. So Ali, I'm looking at you because I know what you're working on. This is how to change and get the control that you're looking for. Again, these are more design, more anime videos, less, notebook LM type presentation. But if you've got actual action that you want to create, this is the way to do it. Can you share the prompt with you? Yeah, it was in the if scroll up. All of the links to tonight are in the Zoom chat. On my website. When you push realism too far using Claude and Cdance 4K on Higgsfield MCP, this was the only reference image. This is spectacular.
忘れたいの。本当に言わなくてもいいよ。ただ一人で抱え込まないで。疲れた。
Yeah, tell your story, folks. Come on, just get past it, get over it. Cdance 2 keeps changing your character's face. The problem may be your reference images, crowded, a collage. So this is the suggestion. One clean headshot, one full body image. Define the subject clearly, put the face reference first. So this is the face drift after the stable identity approach. Interesting approach. I like that. Gray Blender blockout turns into a city that looks expensive enough to have its own history. The geometry barely changes. Materials fog, neon signs, reflections, and lighting arrive. And the same lifeless structure suddenly feels like a frame from a sci-fi film. So you can see the Blender white scale, black and white. There's a name for that, and I can't remember what that's called. Where you have a non-textured, fully assembled model that has the depth associated with it. I forget what that's like. Some just basic shaded model, and use that as the reference. An ambient occlusion. Thank you, Michael. I love you. It's an ambient occlusion. And so the idea here is you prompt the AI to create the model in Blender for you. Then that gets sent as reference into, Cdance 2 or whatever video model you're using. Create creatures that don't exist with AI. I feel like this is, yeah. I mean, I've had my students do this, create fictitious creatures in the past, but now we're getting to the state where this should just only be video, not just images. So cats, these really cute cats. I could watch this for hours and not pay attention to the guy getting his ass kicked in the background. The cats are just so cute. By the way, when I first saw this, I was actually paying attention to the cats, and then I unmuted it and realized, what is that noise? So that is me, focusing on the cats, not the guy getting his butt kicked. This is just tell your story, folks. This is 7 minutes of render time, $2 in tokens. No stunt coordinator, no blood effects team, no two separate film crews synced on one set. Do you still miss your ex? No, I do not miss. Okay, maybe a little bit. Quick experiment using LTX IC LoRa in Comfy UI. Build a simple ship in Blender, render the scene. So again, this block is the reference for the action and camera. So good. So good. This is not AI slop, folks. This was really cool. Again, that depth motion reference. Pick a reference clip under 15 seconds, convert it to depth with depth anything version 2, generate a new character in a scene, feed everything into C dance with the prompt. Um, Dance, martial arts, climbing, parkour, and other complex movements can all be transferred cleanly with the depth. Yep, this works, folks. Again, it's not perfect. Like I don't see her shadow properly. I can be critical of some of that, but does it matter? I don't think so. In video, product consistency, AI ads brands use two sheets. So this is an interesting technique. First one is the product shape from every angle with a scale reference. Second one is only for the specific detail that's breaking when testing. Sheet one, like the small text on the front of the logo. Build both on their platform. Yeah, of course. This is he's got a whole breakdown of how he did it over here. So more good techniques. Nobody's talking about the Claude trick that fixes every CDance 2.0 video mistake, a cinematic action scene, an animated sequence, product ad. Here. So this was skills, a cinematic skill, an animation skill, a product ad skill, and a dialogue skill. Ali, this is what you should be building. This is what I mean. This is the PQ solution. There's separate skills to do separate things, and each does some creation or critique on the output or modification on the input. So 13-minute tutorial on all of that. 24-second animated short, 100% AI, text prompts only, no reference images, no animators, just 5 prompts, one evening. The ending got me. Uh, So I like this. Again, Celia, I feel like the two of us are gonna have to like go through this frame by frame to see how good or bad it is. But that's not something we should be doing, but we still want to do it so that we can get better at it. I think this is great. I see a few things in there. We can talk about it like in class or in overtime or something like that later. Joy AI Echo plus LTX 2.3 merge kills character drift and robotic audio. I want you to play. I want you to listen to this.
Even in the dark, the gradients hold. That is the hard part.
Hello. For the next minute, I am going to be the same person.
Now, again, like they're not expressive. They're very robotic. That's not one of the skills of of what you're looking at here.
Different room, different light, different camera even. My voice has not drifted either. Same rasp, same accent. 30 seconds in, 3 rooms deep, and I still sound like the woman you started with.
Couple of shakes there in terms of the audio, but again, this is the convergence of these AI slop issues. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So again, all right, this is the thing that I was mentioning before. Go hire the dancer. Just go hire the person and use their video as reference for what you're trying to build. Be the animator. Go get in front of the camera, act it out yourself the way they used to do it in Disney, a million years ago. Just go do it. And take that as input. Prompt, describe your action. Make it happen. Tell your story. Stop protesting. If your story's good, people will watch it. If your story's shit, ask ChatGPT to help you make it better. Like, it's just like, come on. Don't ask ChatGPT to write the story. Oh, you can, but whatever, you know what to do. You know what's right for you, but not using these tools is not right for you. I'm gonna give you that advice. CDance 2 creation on Higgs field, active references. So again, multiple images are being put into the model. Description of the images, location, first frame and spatial blocking, format mode, the optics. Excuse me, baking powder, lens lock segment 1, 47-degree diagonal field of view. You got to see this. And to the filmmakers in the room, let me unmute this. So you got the camera angles. And you got that mirror shot. Like, what? And when I first saw this, I was like, oh, oh. And then I'm like, wait, hold on. What did I just see there? So this, the optics, and this is like, I don't know if this is right or wrong. So I leave it to the movie people, the cinematographers in the room, like, okay, yeah, this is good. This is the new technique. This is the new way. 47-degree diagonal field of view, 29-degree diagonal field of view, 29-degree camera, 1 to 2 meters, tight insert on her hands, clapped at her stomach. I mean, again, I thought they were just clasping their hands, but what do I know? Mint body. I'm like, what? So you're literally using the language of a cinematographer who would write this stuff down on a shot breakdown or storyboards on set. Camera, handheld in every segment, action timing. So again, this 0 seconds to 3.5 seconds, 3.5 seconds, hard cut. You're giving the model the instructions on how to do the edit. This is the way. 3.5 to 6.5 seconds, tracking close to shot. She rests her chin on his shoulder and says something teasing into his ear, lips moving without audible words. Insert cut, hard cut, physics. The scooter carries real combined weight, soft suspension compression over road seams, a gentle lean into each bend with both bodies tilting as one. You're describing the physics of the universe to make sure that the model is conditioned on this. Remember, Bayes' theorem to the AI people, to the analytics people in the room. You're conditioning the model on the prompt and the input. You're reminding the model, this is important. That's why this stuff works. Lighting, audio, SFX only, positive locks, identities lock 100 to image 1 and image 2 in every segment, same outfits as they're referenced throughout, her natural 165. I mean, this is a hyper accurate description. Bye, Winnie. Oh, we lost her. These are hyper accurate descriptions of the characters. Absolutely fantastic technique. Despite major launches from 5 labs this month, OpenAI occupies most of the token efficiency Pareto frontier. You want to be in the green side here. All of this in terms of the tokens per intelligence on their index score, it's all GPT. So why would you spend money on Fable or Opus? I don't know. Right now, I'm spending a lot more time this week in GPT 5.6 Sol. And it's going to change next week. It's like it just absorb, understand that you have to change. There's no such thing as a golden stack. There's no such thing as the one tool. You have to learn how to use and be flexible with all of them. And make no mistake, switching from Cursor to Claude Code to Codex on one of the projects I'm working on, I've got conversations in 3 separate tools, and I went crazy earlier. Like, what is going on here? Where is the conversation I had with the AI last week? I could not find it. It took me 10 minutes to find it. It was in Cursor because I forgot I used Cursor. So that welcome to my world. Poolside AI introducing Laguna S 2.1. Again, another open model. Actually, I don't know if this is open model. 118 billion parameter mixture of experts, 8 billion active parameters. 1 million token context window, which is really, really good. And you can see Terminal Bench, Sui Bench, multilingual, Sui Bench Pro. This is, the coding. So it's not state of the art, but I like that. Punching above its weight class. That's what's important. Size. So 118 billion versus 300 billion versus a trillion versus 500 billion versus 1.6 trillion. So it's competing with the big boys at a smaller size. How much memory would this require? Hold on. I want to see this for a second. Nematron Ultra. Okay. So it's doing, yeah. Wow. Qwen 3.627B. So this is one of the models that I use. The Qwen 3.635B is one of the other models that I use locally on my computer. If this, it's not going to fit. It's 118 billion parameters. I don't think that that's going to fit on my Mac, but still, I can dream one day buy a new Mac with a terabyte of RAM. Laguna S 2.1 performs at GLM 5.2 level on building popular games with 6 times fewer parameters. We gave 3 local models the same task, build 3 popular arcade games that play themselves. Each game is one self-contained HTML file with a bot that plays it. So you can kind of see Laguna took 10,000 tokens, GLM took 26,000, High 3 took 10,000, and you can see that they're running. And I think it's subjective to decide which one's better. Okay, so voice, you can clone your real voice and fine-tune run locally on CPU.
You want?
It works with low VRAM and is super fast.
Good one. Okay, fine. I'm just gonna leave this sock monkey here. Goodbye.
Okay, yeah. I resent you. I love you. I respect you. But you know what? You blew it. And thanks to you.
So why pay for 11 Labs if you can just download this and use it for free? And incorporate this into the audio pipeline of Seedance, if you've got a character that's speaking. So, or LTX, we saw the LTX video and the audio just wasn't perfect. You rerun it through this. Granted, this is a text to speech, so you would only provide it with the text and the description of how you want it to run and how you want it to emote. Okay, so we've talked about running local models on your computer. If you've got a fast enough computer with a lot of RAM, you can actually download and run a large language model, a relatively small large language model, but it's still an LLM locally. And this is a flavor of a model that is Qwen 3.6, 35 billion A3B, uncensored Genesis Hermes version 5 GGUF. That's a lot of, like, what is that? What's important about models like this one and others like this is that they have, the guardrails have been removed. They are now uncensored. So if you want to run your screenplay and have it use curse words or ask it to do things that any of the other closed source models or even some of the open source models are banned from doing, these models now enable you to have those censored conversations and they won't block themselves. That's why this is important, not only from a freedom of speech perspective, but also from a research perspective. And this is a small model. This will run on a laptop with 64 gigs of RAM. So, yeah, good stuff. This was really cool. What is a multimodal LLM thinking as it watches a video? This guy put different patches into a word mesh thing, word cloud, I guess. Like one of the things that we used to do back in the day in semantic meaning. Oh, how many words? What were the big trends in the word cloud? I thought this was really cool to just kind of like, so you can stop this and you can see thin pale light. URL, I mean, again, Rest Gate Mist, Prince Night King, Naked Trees, Wind Hair Bun, Aging Aged Base, Car. I mean, again, this is all like nonsense, but I thought it was really cool to see this, Ohio Republic Potato, what? Helping Wreath Guiding. So I thought it was really cool. Some of it makes sense, but anyway, moving on. Qwen Audio 3.0 text to speech. So there was another one. Zero shot in context.
The best indication of internal poisoning may be the presence of an open container. Oh no, I left my keys again? Oh no, I left my keys again? What am I going to do? Call a locksmith?
So you're getting, this is the model that they just did. Cross-lingual in, context generation, emotional voice. This is the one. So let's go with this. So here's the
Something doesn't feel right. The lights are flickering and they're...
That's the prompt audio.
Did you see that shadow? Am I dreaming? I really can't bear to look anymore. Did you see?
If you're trying to create a movie that has actors that emote.
您甭哭了行吗？别再一吵架您就
Stop acting like such special snowflakes. I really can't take it anymore. Every time we have a meeting, you keep interrupting everyone. It's so rude.
So no, the thing that I'm curious about is, does it have the fidelity to provide additional notation in the text to get the emotion that you're looking for, that the director's looking for? Acoustic robustness. So
the secret room, and have a look at this. We've got aging cheese at the bottom. Have you seen the new show at the art museum? I heard it is worth visiting.
So noisy, acoustic robustness. Pay attention to these types of tools. And again, this is from Quen, Alibaba. Logan Kilpatrick announced that Google is now starting their pre-training run for Gemini 4. Now, I have to ask, well, where the hell's Gemini 3.5 Pro? That hasn't been released. The rumor was that it didn't meet their standards. So they're like, I don't know whether they're not going to release it or they're, just going to take what they learned and move on to version 4. Who knows? But they're starting it. So get ready. It's not ending. It's not stopping. Microsoft Asia just dropped Mage Flow on Hugging Face, a small 4 billion model for image generation and editing that matches much larger models in quality. 4 steps, 1 second, 1024, 1024. Model goes up to 4K. Beautiful. NVIDIA, congratulations to the students, the humans, who competed at the International Mathematics Olympiad. They put Nematron 3 Ultra, one of their open models, to the test to take on the same problems in the same time limit with no internet or external tools. The IMO team graded its solutions 30 out of 42 above the 29-point gold threshold. That means AI got a gold on the International Mathematical Olympiad. Again, right? That's not the first one. But it's an open model. First local agent to beat Hermes on Bookmark's Atomic Agent. Another one? There's another one. So I finally got OpenClaw working and I killed it. And I'm in the process of migrating all my manual agents and my custom agents into Hermes. And now I have another one. I don't have time to play with this. So unless this gets oh my God, it's the best thing. Like I said, there's no such thing as a golden stack anymore. So you just have to keep things nimble. Get ready to move. Open Worker. What was this? Oh, no, this was from Andrew Ng. Oh gosh, another agent model, agent harness for everyday tasks. Open, really cool. Haven't played with it. Just announced it. Just saw it. That was announced today. O'Reilly has a good article, The Right Amount of Spec for Agentic Development. If you are, Michael, thanks for coming in. If you are writing an engineering code, spec-driven development is something that should ring a bell. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to be giving a workshop on teaching you how to do that. This is advanced stuff for advanced engineers and how you should be writing the spec. And again, this is for large systems that require a lot of AI and a lot of best practices to get the AI to work properly. Yeah, designing your specification is critical for stuff like that. This was really cool. Cursor had a team of agents rebuild SQLite based off of its 800-page manual. It created a replica in Rust, which passed 100% of a held-out test suite. Interestingly, cost varied 15 times depending on which model mix they used. So Composer 2.5 is Cursor's internal model. But they used Opus, and I'm assuming Opus did the planning. And yes, it's planner is the gray. So Opus did the planning. Composer did the work. This is exactly how I use Cursor, by the way. This is exactly what I do. And note the price to build an entire system based off of its documentation, looking at none of the code. And Fable 5, 20, don't use, like, what? No, there's no reason to use this model, like, unless for some core planning, but don't ever have it do the work. Don't have Opus do the work. This is, I mentioned earlier, I accidentally had Opus do the work, and I blew through so much money. I was like almost in tears. It was such a waste of money. It did the job, but it was an experiment. It was just a test. I didn't need to spend the money on it. I was so angry. Don't do that. Don't be like Todd. Cursor intro. Oh, I mentioned cursor router already. This is really cool. Kimi K3 just fixed 15 critical security bugs that Codex and Fable refused because of cyber guardrails. So this is going back to that hack against Hugging Face. Yeah, this is, again, I completely agree with David Sachs here. There's no reason to limit American models on tasks that Chinese models handle without an issue. We're only making ourselves less competitive. Those guardrails that are preventing legitimate use case to use Codex and Fable to solve these problems. Oh, because we've got our cybersecurity, you might be hacking somebody. No, unlock this stuff because if the Chinese models do it, guess what we're going to use? We're going to use the Chinese models, and then we're going to use the uncensored Chinese models. All right. I love this. Come on, get up, get up. So cool. What was the documentary? Real Steel with Hugh Jackman? People are going to pay to watch this. This is beautiful. No offense to the UFC. Dana White, Joe Rogan, love you guys. This is an and, not an or. I think that this is a massive opportunity. Well, okay. In 10 to 15 years, you're not going to be able to distinguish humans and robots. I think the fighting robots are not going to be looking like humans. I think people are going to want to watch humans fight, and they're going to want to watch robots fight as well. I also think that the robots fighting could be orders of magnitude more violent because there's no emotional, harm in that sense. So that's why Real Steel's, this is happening, man. I want one of these whole body robot Unitree Unifol LM Omni A 0.3 model. Single model handling diverse home care and wellness tasks. This is this is who's going to take care of me when I retire, when I'm like old and senile. I'm going to be taken care of by a robot. I know this. That is my future. I have no kids. I have no partner. I'm not married. Like that. I'm leaning into this. That's going to take care of me. Exaggerated truth. No, not exaggerated. Spot on, dude. ZAI to use only Chinese AI chips at the new giant data center. Again, more signal. It means that we banned China from using NVIDIA's chips, so they're going to just build their own. Yep, there you go. Gemini Notebook, which used to be known as Notebook LM, they now have added a feature so you can create collections. So this is really, really helpful. If you've got lots of notebooks, you can now make collections out of them. Tricking the U.S. government to protect Frontier Labs business models by using a China boogeyman is a mistake. I completely agree with this. We need to make sure that we are competitive and do not ban AI models from China. Intern S2 preview. This is another model, small for scientific research. Thought this was really cool. If you are a scientist, take a look at that. Introducing vocals on 11 Labs Music.
Fresh, upload a single voice recording. I can't let them take my soul. And and turn it into an original track in your own voice. Or skip setup entirely and choose a voice.
So cool. If you need to have your voice, your actor sing something in your movie, this is a way to do it. So I solved 6 open Erdos problems in 5 days using GPT 5.6 Sol. I have a math background, but the codex workflow I use does not require deep math knowledge. Here's exactly how I approached it, including my prompts. The smartest person you can hire is not a human. The human ran this, but the AI did the work. All right, wrapping this up into the labor unit section. So this is the latest AI-driven layoffs. So Sprout Social, Thomson Reuters, 500 people, HDFC Bank, Go Quick, Starling Bank, Muse, and TikTok. July 1st. Yep. So interesting to see that. But Centrica, Energy, 1,300 jobs over 2 years. Contact center roles. UK. All right. This was really cool.
But we're trying to dodge irrelevance here. So what I was thinking was, okay, the robots are cool, but you still need a person to sit there and tell them where to weld. Not exactly automation. I literally stood there and watched a machine scan a part, create a 3D model, and then decide where it needed to be welded based on that model. That's where I really started to wake up, because there's textile factories in India right now that are putting GoPro cameras on the heads of all of their workers in order to collect training data on the AI. And the same thing is going to happen in the welding industry. The scary part is it doesn't even need to happen in America. Any country, anywhere that's doing welding processes can put these GoPros on and start collecting and training an AI data model that's going to be able to scan these parts, create a 3D image of it. The robot will be able to decide where it's supposed to weld and how it's supposed to weld. If you guys still think hand welding is safe from automation, you've got to see this next part. Oh, this one has laser scanning with computer vision. Let's see this thing around here. How many directions? 2 or 3 usually?
Up to you, but normally you will require 2.
I'm going to skip this now, but the point is that what people have said, oh, we need humans to do the welding. Yes, we do. But if it's the same thing over and over again, a robot can do it. And now if it's not the same thing, the robot can scan and make an assessment on the stuff. We're still going to need welders. We're still going to need electricians. We still need tradespeople, because what you're looking at here is something that is completely set up for the robot to handle it. A human today has to have the dexterity to assemble and make sure the entire structure is there. So manufacturing, this is an augmentation effects, not a full replacement effects, but pay attention to it. I've shown the Budget Labs paper research out of Yale repeatedly, but this was updated in June. I haven't shown it in a while, but this was important signal in terms of replacement effects. Their latest report does not provide clear evidence of labor market disruption associated with AI. Churn across occupations, AI exposure among the unemployed, and usage data all remain flat and lie within historical ranges or continue along pre-AI trends. They're saying that there's no AI, people aren't losing their jobs because of AI, meaning causal effects. So pay attention to this type of research. It is important to pay attention to. It means that even though AI is doing some tasks, we still need a person to make sure that the rest of it's working properly. It means that we can do more. We can 10x ourselves. We can increase our capabilities. We can start to target the wish list, the opportunity gaps, and the performance gaps within the organization. Go tackle your wish list and use AI to do it. I think lastly, PNC has this economics research, consumer health check, spending on cruise control report. When it comes to AI, here's the Gen AI subscriptions continue to grow, led by higher income households. Share of households paying for generative AI subscription is increasing. Average monthly spend on generative AI subscriptions among subscribers. So, you're getting like $31. Share of households paying for generative AI subscriptions by generation. I'm Gen X. So I'm this gray one. Okay, that makes sense. And share of households paying for generative AI subscriptions by income tercile. Okay, I don't include that. And then the last thing I just want to point out is gambling is down. So What does that mean? It means that people are probably preparing for a recession of some sorts. I think that's usually a leading indicator when gambling. People are not gambling. So on that note, the tech layoffs tracker, 12,000 in the month of July. Actually, I should just hover this because I just want to point out Microsoft, 4,800 people. And thank you all for coming. I'm going to stop the recording, but I will stick around for some overtime. Again, just a little reminder, in all likelihood, I'm probably not going to be meeting next week because I will be up in Boston at the Open and User Innovation Conference at the Harvard Business School, and I will be presenting my research in a short talk. So I got 2 minutes to present my work, and I get to hang out with a lot of smart people for a few days. So I will probably see you all in 2 weeks, but hopefully I can come back early and we'll do this. I'll let you all know in Slack and WhatsApp. I'll see you guys soon, and I'll see you in class for those of you who are taking class. Thank you.